おい。
いつからいたの？鍵かけてたのに。
おい、そのパーカーそろそろ返せよ。
もらったんだからもう私のものよ。一生返すもんですか。
Uncle from Another World is just too good. This show is just too good. From the moment it started with Elf Girl all the way to it ended, we got to meet a holy mage named Alicia, and the end of the episode ended with us finding out that Uncle had just casually erased the memories from the hero. So not only did he already encounter the hero, not only was the hero of this world in some dire ass situations already, like she was like effed up in that one town where he was considered an orc, but on top of everything else, she ends up being the hero, and she has already met Uncle for a second time because he erased her memory, and she had witnessed him basically crush and create that barrier. I don't know if let me say before, she didn't see him crush the barrier, but she saw him put the barrier up, and he just straight up yeeted her memories out the window. And now he's meeting her again. He lied to her about his actual name, not like he did the first time. This time he used an alias. So now she thinks he's somebody completely else. And now we're going to actually see him interact with the hero. Now, the thing that makes me the most interested, or made me the most interested about learning more about the hero, which, let me put this PSA right there, right now, is we're going to have to wait. Because unfortunately, if you guys didn't know, the studio behind Uncle from Another World, Ojisan, what's the studio name? Studio Atelier Pont d'Arc. The studio has recently gotten COVID, and it has spread across all their studio, and it's really effed them up and their production. I'm hoping two things. A, I'm hoping that they secured the bag from Netflix, because the anime is on Netflix right now. So I'm hoping that they secured the bag funds. But the thing that sucks about that is, even if they did secure the funds, them constantly having to push out production could totally F up their contract or their deal or future dealings with Netflix. So that kind of sucks, because if we get a season 2 or something. And secondly, I'm hoping that the anime does well enough in Japan on streaming services like Bibli and on televised airings in Japan to warrant a second season, because it's just so good. Regardless, though, that's just a PSA, because next week we're gonna be skipping next week because the 8th episode isn't gonna air till I think week after next, potentially. But anyways, we met Alicia. She's called the Shining Crusader. She is a hero. Now, what I was about to say is, I'm hoping that we learn more about her, because the thing I've been waiting the most for the hero is to learn, is she also from another world? Was she also isekai? Was she also reincarnated? Or is she just happens to be the hero of this world? Or is she a hero kind of like, an isekai hero or something like that? Is she from Japan also? I'm very interested to see and learn if that is the case here. So that's the main thing. The rest of the episode, like, there was so much that happened this episode. Episode started off with the elf girl. I love the elf girl so much. She's my I'm not gonna say that she's my favorite. I really think what's her name? Is it my Mabel? I was gonna say Mahel? Mabel? I think Mabel's my favorite, but Elf is definitely second. I love Elf Girl. So it started off with the elf girl wearing Uncle's sweatshirt, hoodie, and him trying to get it back. She totally effed him up. I thought that was hilarious. Then we see him meet this party that includes the hero. He totally, because she finds out who he is. Takafumi is excited because, like, oh, Uncle made some friends. He did. Then he erased their memories. Then we see Uncle talk to a hedgehog. He thinks it's Sonic. The hedgehog says, I like eating, not eating. He said, the hedgehog says, I don't like human meat. I just like seeing humans flail for their life. So he blows up a whole entire town. Then is where it gets really interesting. Then, during this whole time, Fujimiya, during the storytelling session, Fujimiya obviously had to go to school. She leaves her phone. And our boy Takafumi is starting to finally wake up to the feelings that he has for Fujimiya, and seemingly might have always had for Fujimiya, even when she was a big porker in this episode, when she was a big old tubby kid. In this episode, we see a memory from her from the past, and the way Takafumi remembers it in his head was that, hey, somebody was picking on Fujimiya, bullying him. He had to intervene, basically like go save her or whatever. But the reality to that memory, when he used the powers, the memory power to recollect, we find out that actually the story behind that is Fujimiya was a big ass bully. She was like, ho ho ho, and she was bullying some 6th grade kids or something. And Takafumi came over to save her, not realizing, thinking that they were picking on her. And he's like, how dare you guys lay your hands on the girl, even though she was like 6 foot. She's like huge 6 foot, 6 foot 300, pumping out kids everywhere. And I love when you listen to Fujimiya's memory, she goes from like, I'm gonna beat you up, kids, to oh my god, Takafumi. I loved it. I love her little switch that she's basically always had something for him. So I'm hoping that before the end of the season, we actually see them maybe go on a date or something, or maybe make it like a little kiss, like just a little something, hold some hands, just a little spark before we end the season, just to kind of give us a good button up, put a little bow on it for the end of the season. I would love to see that, because obviously Uncle Ojisan, he realizes it, he knows what's up. But obviously this episode really good for their relationship, really good to kind of set up what's going to come next with the hero, with the Shining Crusader. Love seeing the memories from the past for Fujimiya and Takafumi. I love that Uncle let him borrow, like basically gifted Takafumi his powers to basically go F up some dude. And I love how this gruffing dude who was like, yo, let's go to the hot springs again. He's all hitting on Fujimiya. He's like, let's go to hot springs again. Fujimiya like, nah, I ain't going to hot spring with you again. You kept me up all night. And then it ends up being that's just her little brother. And he was in 4th grade, but he looks like he's like 35, like he's for the streets. I freaking love that. And I loved meeting another one of Fujimiya's friends as well, who she's like, yo, who the hell is this Takafumi dude? So I loved all of this episode. Oji-san, our uncle from another world, has yet to disappoint. Every single episode is absolutely fire. This episode, the same. We got Elf Girl. We got the hero introduced. We got Fujimiya, Takafumi love progression. Freaking fantastic episode. Another killer episode. My heart just goes out to the people over there at the studio that I can't pronounce. Atelier something. I hope that they feel better. When the COVID be spraying around, I was like, yo, a lot of these, like, I don't know if they could do their work remote. I know a lot of artists and certain people involved in the anime process do work from home. I can imagine it's extremely difficult, but like they may need to go to like a semi-remote option until this COVID stuff can pass. Because what's gonna happen is if it doesn't, the COVID somebody will feel better but still be symptomatic, passes to someone else, and it'll just continue being a thing if they're all in close proximity. So my heart goes out to them. But regardless, let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments below. Who's best girl? You know what I mean? Is it Elf Girl? Is it Elf? Is it Mabel? Is it this new Shining Crusader Alicia? Who's best girl? Who's best girl to you? Personally, I think I like Fujimiya the best. But from Uncle's lady entourage, I think Mabel's my favorite because she's a little crazy. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys when this anime returns again. I'll have episode 8 up. All right, my friends. Deuces.